TJ the Wheel Deal coming at you live. I was a little hesitant to go on this morning because it says there's another person on here with me and there's nobody. So I don't know what the hell happened with StreamYard. The format is like totally whacked out. So anyway, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, we have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to try to get it keep it real simple, real short, 30 minutes tops or so. We'll see how it goes because I got a lot of shit to do. But essentially, sold $1,262,500 of cash secured puts on Mstx. It's a leverage play on MicroStrategy. I'm starting to understand the convertible note more and more. I think there's an actual leverage play on Riot that's coming out too. So I may look to do that one as well. I love the leverage play. So we got 25 cash secured puts at 85 for this Friday. 25 cash secured puts at 80 for this Friday. And we've got 100 cash secured puts at 85 for the end of the year. This one was strategic here, guys. This one paid a shitload of money, talking about a cool 125,000. Why? Why did I go so heavy? It's because I did some tax loss harvesting on Intel. I had some cash secured puts for January the 10th, I believe. And there was an opportunity there to take $720,000 of collateral off the table for agreeing to buy Intel at $24. So I locked that in. So paid back $103,000, locked in a loss of $51,000. And that really helps with the tax situations on the account. So I always have to do what's best for the taxes as well. So not bearish on Intel or anything of the sort. We still have the covered calls at 28, but I definitely don't want the position to get any larger than that. And I'm going to continue to sell covered calls on it over and over again. And then eventually we'll see what happens. I'd like to move that money over to SOXL. So that is what's going on in a nutshell. Let me check in with you guys real quickly. I have no idea how to work this thing anymore. So I feel like I'm going to have to go back to school on StreamYard because I don't know how to work this thing. Like a lot of this stuff disappeared on the bottom. So I'm going to have to reach out to customer service. Maybe they can help me out. Anyway, what is going on here? Shamu, what's going on? Bachata completed the same trade this morning on Riot. Absolutely crazy, man. Great premiums over there. We'll talk about that in a second. What's going on, Mr. International? James Velez. What's going on? Drew, CV, AR Bomber. Larmo, Manisha. What's going on, Vic? Can you speak to your plan on Palantir? I'll talk about it. I actually made some moves on Palantir as well. I'll talk about it. And these were on like Friday. I'll talk about that. Like a portfolio that a Bitcoin place, what say you? I am extremely bullish on Bitcoin. It's the right place to be for now. For now. Definitely things will switch over a little bit more. I'm going to get heavier into Tesla. Going to get heavier into Amazon as well to balance the portfolio. Good observation. The Bitcoin play works right now. That's the place to be. Been saying it for weeks now. Mstx is the easiest money on the market. You got to manage it though. You got to manage it because it can definitely blow up the account. Definitely blow up the account. So anyway, guys, let's talk about it. So what I want to do first, let me go pull up Palantir. What did I do with Palantir? I didn't pull a couch investor. I didn't sell the entire position. That's not what I did. But I did just take a good hard look at Palantir. And I said, okay, this shit just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And when it doesn't make any sense, it's real hard for me to make any more dollars. So this is what I did. Full transparency on the channel. Down to the 4,000 shares at 33.32, and they're all for sale at $45. I'm not gonna do anything with them. Not gonna do anything with them for like 3 to 6 months. I'll keep rolling these indefinitely, but I no longer have the leaps. I'm no longer running the poor man cover call campaign. You guys will see it right here. Full transparency, kind of stuff you'll get on this channel. It's not like, quasi transparency and like my boy Invest with Henry, nephew Henry, or anything like that. This is what you see, is what you get. So what happened is I bought these Palantir calls back in the day and paid a cool 51 and 52,000, so $103,000 to buy the calls. It's like 25 contracts each. Started selling cover calls against them, and it was all fine and dandy. The shit started getting away, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna sell the cover calls. I'm gonna buy to close the leaps. Made about a $25,000 profit in a nutshell. And now the only thing that I have on Palantir is the 4,000 shares for sale at 45 bucks. That's it. That's it. Not going to sell any cash care puts at these levels. Why? Because the premiums suck. The premiums absolutely suck on Palantir. So I'm not going to do it. And these cover calls here, they're not causing any stress. They don't have a whole lot of extrinsic value left and all that stuff, but they do have a year on the contract. So I'm like, if you want to give us 180 grand for all of those shares, they're worth about 300 and some change right now. Be my guest. Be my guest. And then I'll wait for Palantir to come down. I think it is going to have a 6 in front of it, maybe even a 5 in front of it. And at that point, I'll look to start building up the position. It just doesn't make any sense to me anymore from a valuation. I don't have rose-colored glasses, guys. Valuations matter. Fundamentals matter. I think that this thing has run about 2 years ahead of its time, maybe even more. I hope that it continues to run. I don't mind babysitting these cover calls for the next 10 or 20 years if we need to. Doesn't pain me the way that it pains you guys, because I have already made plenty of money on Palantir for us, as a family. And I'll continue to make money on this position, but I'm not going to stress out about it that much. I'm just not, because there's other shit that I'm interested in. I got the Mstx play that I'm in now, heavy. I got the marathon play that I'm selling puts and calls on. I got MicroStrategy over here. I got NIO cover calls that are underwater. We could talk about that one real quickly. I did a swing trade on NIO, bought 50,000 shares at one point. I sold 20 for a profit, and then I bought another 30,000 shares. You'll see them here, right here. Bought 20,000 shares for 94,474. Got some premiums. Agreed to sell the shares at $5. So now I'm in that situation. I'm always in this quandary. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? Am I going to follow the plan? Because I got a 443 average cost on these 30,000 shares. I'm not qualified for all of this capital appreciation because I have a capital in my ceiling, because I got the shares for sale at $5. So what am I going to do? I want the shares to get called away, and I want to get back into cash, and I want to log in a nice little win on NIO, because I still have a lot of NIO in the portfolio. In other ways, I've got some more cash secured puts at $5 for January 2026. I've got leaps, 1,500 of those. And then I've got these, I've got the leaps, I've got them for sale, right? I'm running it's almost like a debit spread essentially, because they have the same expiration dates. So it's a version of like the 4-man cover call. So I've got all the shares for sale at 8. The idea is to exercise them at 5. So that's the way that I'm going to play it. I'm just going to play it over here. I closed out the $4 cash secure puts, freed up the $400,000 there. I put all of that money into MicroStrategy as well. So that was a no-brainer. So that's how I'm playing NIO. I'm minimizing my exposure there a little bit. And I'm real heavy on the Bitcoin plays right now, because I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin, and that's where I want to make money right now. Also sold 200 cash secure puts on Riot this morning. I think that it's going to end up working out, and it's just like I had given back like 13, 14 grand on $1.3 million worth of cash secured puts, locked in a $73,000 win yesterday. and boom, now I just collected the 14,000 back, tied up a fraction of the collateral, and now we're going to go get the rest of that bag. Extended it from, it was 1220. Now we're at 1227. It's only 200 contracts. If it goes against me, I'm going to load the boat. I'll lower everything down to like 10, hopefully 9 if it really crashes. And then I would look to take ownership of 75,000 shares at $9. Hello. That would put us at 200,000, or I'll ride those shares up to like 15. Another thing that I did on Riot is I finally bought some leaps to protect the covered calls. So I bought the 200 leaps over here at $15, lottery leaps, if you will, way out of the money. And I'm not going to sell any covered calls against those. I want them to print, and I want them to go up in a really, really big way. Probably down a little bit on them right now. It might be even, actually up $600. Just sold these this morning. And that is pretty much everything that's going on with the portfolio. So now I just want to turn it into like kind of like a live Q&A for us. So let's talk. Let's talk. What's going on, Uzi? What's going on with you guys? Haven't looked into it. Haven't looked into it. Don't really know enough about it. I don't know that it'll go down to normal valuations. I do see it going into the 50s. I truly do see it going into the 50s. And that's going to take a lot of pressure off of people's covered calls. That's just what I think. I could totally be wrong. We'll see what happens. Started positioning NVIDIA on this dip this morning. Are you in NVIDIA? No, I moved all of the money into SOXL. SOXL. So I'm playing NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, Micron, Broadcom. There's like 30 of them in that ETF. Mstx possible to zero. That is definitely something that could happen. You got to know what it is that you signed up for. Very unlikely though. Dylan Rebar would love to give you our automated wheel strategy. Right on. There's another one that I've done. It's called Tiblio. Tiblio has a bot as well. I'm always interested in listening, but there's no way that I'm gonna give my money to a bot and let them go to work, because this is just what I do, and I feel like the bot is going to do everything systematic. Probably going to do great, but they can't think. Right at the end of the day, they can't think, and it's like I don't think that the bot would have moved the money out of Intel and put it over here, cut 2 weeks off the time frame, and brought in $25,000 more in premiums. So I just think that there's going to be limitations on that. Wants to smoke with Henry? No. Dude, Henry's a real great channel, guys. Y'all want to do some beginner-friendly wheeling? This dude really does an amazing job. I think he is really good at YouTube, and he's a good wheeler. A lot more conservative than I am. Does very well. Does very well. He's probably got, if I had to guess, he's probably got about $8 to $10 million in the market. Makes a shitload of money on YouTube, coaching, all that stuff. He's got it going on. Do I think that I'm a better wheeler than him? Absolutely. I don't think there's anybody better than me. And I think that's the way that you should think. I'm not saying that that's accurate. I'm just saying that's the way that I feel. I feel like I am the best in the game. No fucking doubt about it in my mind. You give me $1 million, you give all of them $1 million, I'm going to figure out how to double my money faster. And because I'll do things that they won't do. Like I will do things they won't do. I'll get results that they won't get. At the same time, some people could argue that somebody like Henry would never blow up his account, whereas I could potentially blow up my account. That's fair. I am going after bigger returns. And Henry's done that kind of stuff too. Like he did a bunch of spreads on Tesla a while back and made a shitload of money on that. So he has that capability to do that stuff too. What's going on? Completed your TJ keeping levels I expected to see. Yeah, that's crazy, man. It is crazy. It's crazy. But hey, Palantir, all they do is win, man. They just get a bunch of awesome contracts. They got an amazing grade A balance sheet, all of that stuff. But it's just like, it comes down to like free cash flow, and then there's discounted cash flow models and stuff. And I'm like, we're really going to be paying money today for like 2033 earnings? It just got a little bit silly, in my opinion. Never heard of it. Never heard of it, to be honest with you. No, Dell. Hey, Maria, how are you? Hey, Lurker, appreciate you. Morning. What do you think about Oklo? Guys, I've been sticking with the same ones over and over, and there's like so many opportunities out there, but I have just been hesitant, reluctant to want to do anything with anything else because I'm still trying to manufacture the win here. And then I just recently started selling cash secure puts on MSTR and MSTX. So I feel like I got to really babysit those as well, if that makes sense. So I can't really take anything else on. What makes you think Bitcoin play isn't already long into? It could be. I doubt it. I just doubt it. I just doubt it. I think we have another 3 to 6 months, and we're gonna be good. I can manage these cash secure puts though, guys. And then with like Riot, it's whatever. Like I'm trying to ride Riot out to like 2030, 2035. You know, as long as Jason Less is the CEO, as long as they're bullish, as long as everything's trucking along, they just did my God, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about that. I mean, my goodness, I can't believe I didn't lead out with this thing. We got to talk about this thing here on the convertible note. Riot's officially trying to get in the game. So let me see if I can find the email that they sent me. Here we go, right over here. So got this email in the inbox today. I sign up for these updates. It's not like I'm special and they have somebody over there that's, oh, let's email TJ. It's not how it works. You can sign up for all of these things too. So it says Riot announces proposed private offering of $500 million of convertible senior notes. Haven't even read it. So let's see. Let's read it together. So let's see what's going on here. Let me make this a little bit bigger for the old people like myself. So here it says, Riot Platforms announces proposed private offering of $500 million of convertible senior notes. Today, announced that it intends to offer, subject to market conditions and other factors, $500 million in aggregate principal amount of its convertible senior notes due in 2030, in a private offering to persons reasonably believed to be qualified institutional buyers in reliance on Rule 144A under the Securities Act of 1933, as amended the Securities Act. Riot also expects to grant to the initial purchasers of the notes an option to purchase within a 3-day period beginning on and including the date on which the notes are first issued, up to an additional $75 million aggregate principal amount of the notes. The offering is subject to market and other conditions, and there can be no assurance as to whether, when, or on what terms the offering may be completed. So it's something that's on the table. Doesn't sound like anything's concrete yet. The notes will be unsecured senior obligations of Riot. The notes will mature on January the 15th, 2030, unless earlier repurchased, redeemed, and converted in accordance with their terms. Subject to certain conditions on or after January the 20th, 2028, Riot may redeem for cash all or any portion of the notes. If Riot redeems fewer than all the outstanding notes, at least 50 million aggregate principal amount of the notes must be outstanding and not subject to redemption as of the relevant redemption notice date. The notes will be convertible into cash, shares of Riot's common stock, or a combination of cash or shares of Riot's common stock at Riot's election. Prior to June the 15th, 2029, the notes will be convertible only upon the occurrence of certain events and during certain periods, and thereafter at any time until the second scheduled trading day immediately preceding the maturity date. The initial conversion rate and other terms of the notes will be determined at the time of pricing of the offering. Riot expects that the reference price used to calculate the initial conversion price for the notes will be the U.S. Composite Volume Weighted Average Price of Riot's common stock from 2 p.m. through and including volume reported on the Market Center official close on the date of pricing. Riot intends to use the net proceeds from this offering to acquire additional Bitcoin and for general corporate purposes. The notes will be offered and sold to persons reasonably believed to be qualified. So accredited investors, the press release, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. There was a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. Now that we have a Riot Weekly coming here soon, I think that that is something that we can tackle as a panel. And then once I start growing the channel a little bit more, we've got a lot of people on today, 1,700 people on X, 142 on YouTube. I will be reaching out to Jason, and hopefully we can get him and somebody else on the channel or whomever is willing to come on. And they can walk us through these types of things, because I'm going to cover this company extensively. The whole thing with Riot Weekly is going to be, this is what's going on with the company, and this is what we're doing to try to make money with it, right? So like the SoFi Weeklies, the Hymns, all of these other weekly shows, it's just like, cool, tell me everything that's going on with the company. That's great. But also show me how you're making money with it. Like, what are you doing to make money with it? Because maybe that's something that I could do too. So that is what I want to do with Riot. Is I want to show y'all exactly how I'm playing it. This is everything that I'm doing with it. Why am I doing this, etc. So it's going to be, half the show is going to be, hey, this is what's going on with Riot. These are the Riot current events, if you will. Are we bullish or are we bearish in general, fundamentally? And then let's take a look at the technicals a little bit. Let's spend 5 minutes on the technicals. This is what's going on with the moving averages, the Bollinger Bands, the MACDs, the RSIs, etc. And then this is how I'm playing it, and this is why I'm playing it this way. This is what I expect to make, etc. So it's going to be classes in session. This is how we're playing Riot. This is how we expect to make this amount of money over and over and over again. So it's almost like, instead of a Riot Weekly, it's like, how am I making money on Riot Weekly? And you guys can hopefully chime in and help us out with any news and events and stuff like that. And then my specialty is like, how do you make money on the stock at the end of the day? Because that's what we're all here for. I don't think y'all are here for entertainment purposes. I think you're here to learn how to make money. That's why people tune into this particular channel. So anyway, hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. So that's what's going on with Riot. I don't see anything else that's noteworthy, guys. I don't see anything else that is noteworthy. It looks like China's pumping a little bit because they're trying to do some stimulus, stuff like that. I apologize. My nose is like totally clogged up. The more I blow it, the more it gets clogged up. So I'm going to go take like some Dayquil. I feel perfectly fine. I'm going to go grab a workout after this. I feel great, but I don't sound great. So I apologize for that. Amazon is another one that I just keep building and building and building. And I'm just selling covered calls on it. I'm already for May at 205. Every month or so, I'm trying to increase the strike price, $5, $5, $5. I don't plan on exiting these shares until there's a 3 in front of it. So I'll probably be rolling these for the next 2 or 3 years. And Ryan might, or Amazon might have a 4 in front of it at that time. My exit right now, my exit target strike price is $300. That's it. I don't care where Amazon's trading at that point. If I can sell these shares for $300, I just feel like I would have done very well in this trade, and I'll call it good. What else do we got here? Anything else noteworthy? No. Okay, cool. Teaching segment. Let me pull up my X. I have a teaching segment for you guys. Teaching segment. Let me find my X here. It's this guy. And this is a teaching segment. What do y'all think of that thumbnail? Pretty sweet. Y'all like that thumbnail? That is Tevis. That is Dallas Matthew. That is Bill White. That is myself. Part of the head cut off. I'm trying to find a teaching segment. I did it yesterday. And I was like, I'm writing it here so that it can remind me that this is going to be our teaching segment. So bear with me. I watched about half of Rounders yesterday. That movie always gets me pumped up. Here we go. Teaching segment. Teaching segment, teaching segment, teaching segment. Get your freaking notepad out. Screenshot this if you need to, because I'm going to say it one more time for folks so that you guys can really understand. So here it is. I'm going to say this once again for the lower IQ folks in the class. If the shoe fits, wear it, guys. Don't roll cover calls out a year unless you're legit long the stock. You lose liquidity when you do so. Know what it is that you're signing up for. When I have cover calls on Tesla at $280 for January of 2026, and I'm okay rolling indefinitely, it's because I have zero intention of selling my position anytime soon. That's being long the stock from my perspective. If you want to reserve the right to lock in a profit soon on a crazy run up, do yourself a favor and maybe don't sell calls at all. Keep shit simple. It's really not that complicated. You're just overly emotional. Got 25,000 views, 205 likes, some reposts, 27 comments. That is y'all's teaching segment, guys. I cannot emphasize it enough. If you are not legitimately long a stock, and the stock is like extremely volatile, it could be a MicroStrategy, it could be a Tesla, it could be a NIO, Riot, a lot of the companies that I deal with, do yourself a favor and don't sell covered calls, because if those covered calls are going to cause you stress, and they're going to put a cap on your ceiling, and they're going to limit your liquidity because you're saying that you're long the stock, but the minute that there's a crazy run up, you want to reserve your right to exit the position. Just be honest with yourself. Just be honest with yourself and say, hey, this isn't really an investment. This is a trade, and that's okay. Nobody's going to judge you. No one's going to judge you. Far be it from me to judge anyone. You know, he is without sin, cast the first stone, right? Your biblical quote of the day. So do what makes sense for you. Y'all have heard me say on this channel, I don't like squatters. I need to bring money to the door, etc., etc., etc. That is the way that I run my hamburger stand. That doesn't mean that that's the way that you should run yours. It works for me. These cover calls don't stress me out that much. There's plenty of other money that I could deploy somewhere else. And if shit gets really out of hand, I'm also okay saying, hey, you know what? Kind of caught, left a couple $100,000 on the table with Palantir. But I've already moved on. I'm more excited about MicroStrategy at these levels. I'm more excited about Riot at these levels. I'm more excited about Tesla at these levels. So there's always another stock that I'm just as excited about. I don't get fixated on just this one stock. My favorite stock is the one that says investing and that dollar amount. That is my favorite stock. In other words, the portfolio is my favorite stock. So, and then after that, it would probably be Tesla. You know what I mean? So that's why I use Tesla as this particular example. So I'm legit long the stock. I got $280 cover cost for January 2026. And this is how I'm sleeping. If they want to give us all of that money right now, we'll take it. We'll go sell cash put somewhere else, probably on Tesla even, if we feel like it. We feel like there's more meat to get there. You know, we left some meat on the bone. We can go grab it. We can go grab it, but I don't freak out. I don't act like, oh my God, the sky is falling or anything of the sort. And if covered calls are causing you that kind of stress, then maybe that's a menu item that you shouldn't have in your hamburger stand. You know, like maybe that's just a menu item that you shouldn't have in your hamburger stand. I love it for mine because it's a hedge to the downside as well when shit's been going bad in the stock market, because sometimes it does when your stocks aren't printing. Cover calls have been my saving grace. They've been my saving grace. They've been the cash flow that I could count on. So I like them. But there's a time and a place for everything. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. And then whenever the market's going real crazy, maybe covered calls might not be the right situation for your hamburger stand. So you have to recognize where you are in the situation, what kind of player you are in the game, what your goals and objectives are, and play it accordingly. Like, play to your strengths, and if something is causing you a lot of grief, maybe just stay away from it. The Lord says, lead me not into temptation. Easiest way to not commit that sin that kind of has, like, you're beholden to that sin, right? That kind of has a stronghold on you, is maybe just avoid it altogether. I don't know. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Hopefully that helps you guys at all. Hopefully that helps you guys out. NeoQuant is saying, hey TJ, so I have Palantir cover calls at 40 for 625. Should I close this and get liquidity back rather than waiting? It depends on what it is that you are trying to do. Like, I have the cover calls on Palantir for January of 2026 at $45, and I have zero intention of doing anything with them for the account. Nothing. I'm just gonna roll them whenever the opportunity presents itself. Right now, there's no opportunity. There's no opportunity. I could try to roll them right now. I can go all the way as far as it'll let me. I think it's January 2027. I got to make good on $34. So I'm like, okay, cool. Where can I go? I can add $10 to it. So I get $680 right now, add a year to the contract, and get $10 more in capital appreciation on 4,000 shares. 40 grand, not bad. So 40 grand in capital appreciation. I think that's right. Is that right? I don't think that's right. Yeah, it is right? $10, 4,000 shares. So 40 grand in capital appreciation, and then kind of a break even on the credit. It's more than any dividend Palantir is going to pay. So I'm like, I'm okay. And then now I'm in it, put another year on it at 55. Some people are still going to argue that that's even stretched on the valuation. So the one thing that I wouldn't do is I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to go all the way over here and do that. And now I'm going to pay $46,000 so that I'm qualified for a $90 strike price, when I don't think that there's a world that anybody can convince me that Palantir should be trading at $90. So that's why I don't do that. That's why I always say valuations matter. So to me, the reason that I was comfortable putting Palantir at $45, because that was my price target January 2026, with Palantir was $45. That's where it was. And quite frankly, if it went there, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. That's the bottom line. Anyway, guys, I got to get rocking and rolling. I hope y'all can appreciate it, that it's short and sweet. I did want to plug that we are going to start doing Riot Weekly. I don't think Tevis is going to be able to join us this week. Hopefully, Dallas, Bill White will be able to pick up the slack this week. But we're just going to get into it. We're going to get into it, taking it like it's day one with Riot on the fundamentals. And then we're going to talk about how we're making money with that stock. We're also going to cover Bitcoin in general. We're also going to cover Riot, and we're going to cover CleanSpark, because those are all places where I have a little skin in the game too. And then we can also talk about MicroStrategy as well. But for the most part, it's going to be, the focus is on Riot. Anyway, guys, I got to get rocking and rolling. I hope y'all can appreciate that it's short and sweet and to the point. I got to go. TJ the Wheel Deal signing off. As always, may your sky stay blue, stocks green. Peace out. God bless you.